Good morning, my lovely friends. This is Max Kaan, and I'm delighted to present the reading for you today. And as I do, I want you to know, in my imagination, I'm at church with you right now, looking over the podium at your smiling, happy faces, and I can feel your love and energy being directed at me. And I know today's reading is appropriate, and I know you will enjoy today's reading. I read from the book Light from Many Lamps, page 74. Long, long ago, an Eastern monarch who was plagued by many worries, harassed on every side, called his wise men together. And he asked his wise men to invent a motto, a few magic words that would help him in time of trial or distress. It must be brief enough to be engraved upon a ring, he said, so that he could have it always before his eyes. It must be appropriate to every situation, as useful in prosperity as in adversity. It must be a motto wise and true and endlessly enduring. Words by which a man could be guided all his life, in every circumstance, no matter what happened. The wise men went away and thought and thought and thought, and finally came to the monarch with their magic words. And these were words for every change or chance of fortune, declared the wise man. These were words to fit every situation, good or bad. Words to ease the heart and mind in every circumstance. And the words they gave the monarch to engrave upon his ring were, "This too shall pass away." 5 magic words. This too shall pass away. Century after century, this old legend has survived. Now, whether or not the motto was invented for a troubled monarch, no one really knows, nor is it in the least important. But this much is certain: these words are wise and true, and endlessly enduring. They have proved their power over and over again through the centuries to uncounted numbers of men and women in every land, in every conceivable situation. They have given comfort to the afflicted, courage to the frightened, hope to the worried and distressed. This too shall pass away. 5 magic words. This too shall pass away. Poets and philosophers have stressed these 5 magic words over and over again, each in his own fashion, but always with the same inspiring influence. One day, about 100 years ago, an American editor came across the legend and was impressed by its ancient wisdom. He was Paul Hamilton Hayne, distinguished also as a writer of light lyrical verse. He was so enchanted by the legend that he published a brief story about it, and was at once astonished by the lively interest it created. So he decided, as many had before, and many have since, to write some verses about the famous phrase. By some mysterious alchemy, his simple lines made an enormous appeal to the public, and for years tattered copies of "This Too Shall Pass Away" by Paul Hamilton Hayne were carried around in purse and pocket, being the favorite inspirational poem of thousands of people. And the poem reads, "Art thou in misery, brother? Then I pray, be comforted, for this grief shall pass away. Art thou elated? Ah, be not too gay. Temper thy joy, for this too shall pass away. Art thou in danger, still let reason sway, and cling to hope, this too shall pass away. Tempted art thou, in all thy anguish lay, one truth to heart, this too shall pass away. Do rays of loftier glory round thee play, king-like art thou, this too shall pass away. Whatever thou art, wherever thy footsteps stray, heed these wise words, this too shall pass away. Paul Hamilton Haynes' poem won wide popularity in his own day, and it has kept circulating ever since, continuing its influence on the afflicted, the distraught, and the discouraged. Every now and then it makes a tour of newspapers, or is featured in magazines. Sometimes it appears with a different title, or with lines changed to suit the times, or with verses added or subtracted. Many other poets have used the same theme before and since, and occasionally a hodgepodge of verses from various sources is collected and published as anonymous or author unknown. But the philosophy is always the same, and always helpful to the troubled or despairing. The 5 magic words, this too shall pass away. When Ray Stannard Baker was ill and in great pain, he remembered the famous phrase and found it comforting. He wrote in his notebook, "Nothing lasts, not even pain." When Robert Louis Stevenson was suffering bodily torment, weakened and wearied by the long struggle against tuberculosis, he kept reminding himself of the famous phrase, hoping each morning would find himself better. It helped him to put his suffering out of his mind, and it helped him to keep on writing. And he wrote to his friend William E. Henley, a man whose brand of courage matched his own, "A chapter a day I mean to do." When Abraham Lincoln was forced to endure the hatred of millions because of his steadfast loyalty to purpose and principles, when he was bitterly reviled and condemned for refusing to consider an unjust peace, he reminded himself that this too would pass away, and that with God's help he would weather the storm. My lovely friends, countless other stories could be told of this inspiring phrase. These 5 magic words, which legend says were engraved by wise men upon a monarch's ring many centuries ago. These words are still comforting words for all of us to remember in times of trial or trouble, in times of hardship or affliction. When nothing else helps, it's comforting to know that no pain or grief, no bad situation can last forever. That whatever your burden in life may be, this too shall pass away. And my lovely friends, I chose this reading today because we all find ourselves in the midst of the coronavirus. Trust me, believe me, the coronavirus, this too shall pass away.